Welcome to balmy Lake Placid, New York. So I got in here last night, and the plan for today is to do kind of a walk around of the town and then ultimately end up back over, where are we at here? Over here, which is the edge of the one of the major Olympic complex centers for us to do a walk through. However, first things first, need to get some coffee. There we go, Origin Coffee. Right across from the high school and the speed skating rink. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, for the expensive machine.
And that's the new speed skating oval that was just built in the last year or so. That's actually the Lake Placid High School. And here, I believe, is, we'll talk about this later, but a little tease, this is where the 1980 Miracle on Ice event happened. And then I believe that this is the 1932 ice rink that was used for the first time that Lake Placid held the Olympics. So I'm staying at a hotel called the Golden Arrow, which is at the southern end of the main shopping strip of Lake Placid, which sits right against Mirror Lake. So the plan is to walk along Main Street, just take a look at what it looks like downtown a little bit. It's like a week before Christmas, so they have a bunch of Christmas decorations out. And then we're gonna trek up the other end of this hill here, walk back down this way through the neighborhood, or a neighborhood up at the top of the hill, and then ultimately end up back here where we will go and explore the Olympic complexes there from the 1932 and 1980 Olympics. Oh, look at that cool view of the mountains there. So in between the building and the mountains is Mirror Lake, which is the lake that Lake Placid actually sits against. So the town of Lake Placid doesn't actually sit against Lake Placid itself. That is an adjacent lake, kind of northwest of Mirror Lake. So when I got in last night, I brought the camera with me to go and film a little bit of me trying to get some dinner. So I don't know where that's going to fit into everything, but yeah, we'll be able to see a little bit of that hopefully at some point here. But to give you some context, if that's already happened or whatever, this Alpine Mall here is where we came out of last night. That connects to where we got dinner at the Wyatt's Tacos place right here, and then in the back of there it connects to directly to my hotel, so we're able to get right in without having to go outside. You know, for hosting 2 winter games, this town still only has a population of about 2,600 people. And it definitely has that small town feel, so it makes it even crazier to see those giant Olympic complex ice rinks and the speed skating stuff, etc. And then there's even more stuff outside of town. When the town itself is like, you know, like I said, 2,600 people. They have a pie pop-up shop. But anyway, so a little bit later, after we explore the Olympic complex here with the ice rinks, we're gonna go slightly out of town, maybe 5-10ish minutes, to the still active ski jump area complex, I guess. And you can actually take a gondola ride up to the top of the ski jump and then an elevator up to the top of one of the actual ski jumps. And so we're gonna go and check that out. I hope it's cool. I feel like it's gonna be really cool. Yeah, here's the library that I saw last night. Even the library is super cool looking. USA Spirit Shop and USA Hockey Store. This is a really interesting mix of small mountain town mixed with, oh yeah, also we held the Olympics here a couple of times, FYI. There's a great shot of Mirror Lake. You know, I've heard this Breakfast Club place is really, really good. Unfortunately, it didn't really sound like they had anything I could eat, so that's a shame because that looks like a really cool little place. So if you're in the area and you don't have celiac disease, then I would recommend checking it out and letting me know how it is. That is basically the main strip here. So what we're gonna do now is where these cars are turning up here, we're gonna walk up the hill there, assuming that I have a decent sidewalk to walk on. And then we will circle back through a residential area on the hill behind this building here, end up back down by the Olympic complex that we saw earlier, and then go in and check that out. And you can actually do all sorts of recreational activities both in the summer and the winter. No gas-powered boats are allowed on this lake, which supposedly, from what I've read, keeps it cleaner and safer for people to use for swimming and various non-motorized activities. And I read that in the winter, a lot of this gets brushed off and is used for ice skating and events like that. I'm guessing since it's early on in winter, maybe the ice hasn't had a chance yet to solidify. That is so just calm and peaceful and sort of, I don't know if stereotypical is the right word, but like it's what you think of with like a winter wonderland Christmas postcard almost, right? All right, so now we're going to attempt to go up this hill here, up by that church. There's another shot of downtown. These are where more vacation rentals are, kind of lakefront places. Ooh, it might be 15 degrees out, but between the coffee and the hill and all that, I'm going to be nice and warm by the time I get up here. All right, so please excuse the hat hair. I'm already getting toasty, but so unlike in Maryland, where they say it might snow and everything gets shut down now, up here in Lake Placid, despite getting 6 or more inches of snow, including another couple inches last night, school's still in session and going strong. Oh, that is really cool. Is that a residence or like a B&B? Looks like it's just a residence. That's a dentist office. Well, we're getting there. Just a little bit more and we'll be at the top of the hill. And I just noticed there are mountains even back here. Hopefully the camera picks those up. So this was actually the road that I was going to attempt to walk back on. But it does not look... It looks like a bit of a mess. But I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. So the history of this place in general actually dates back to the early 1800s when about 5 or 6 miles down the road here, what eventually became the town of North Elba was settled, and an iron ore mine was established. And so that grew steadily over the 19th century. And as North Elba grew, it was increased in size and area by various abolitionists like John Brown, who came and bought up hundreds of acres of this land up here to create an area for freed slaves to be able to live and to be able to live. So kind of separate from that, around the turn of the 20th century, well, this is not really going to work. I assumed there was going to be a sidewalk along here, and that is what I get for not verifying that. But yeah, we will we'll make it work. But yeah, I think in 1895, Melvin Dewey, the inventor of the Dewey Decimal System, actually established a social club up here. Oh, look how pretty this is. But Melvin Dewey established a social club up here called the Lake Placid Club, which was meant for wealthy individuals to be able to come up and enjoy various recreational activities. And so that continued to grow over the coming decades. The club actually became so popular that the village of Lake Placid was incorporated in 1900 with the name of Lake Placid, named after that club that Melvin Dewey established. But from its roots as a recreational club in the late 1800s up through just a couple of decades, the popularity of winter sporting events increased so much that they actually won the bid to, or they convinced the IOC to allow the Olympic Games to be held here in 1932, despite only having a couple thousand people. So out that way is maybe 10 or 15 miles away is the mountain where the skiing Olympic events were held. And then, hey doggy. And then, as we'll see in a bit, we're going to go out to the ski jump area and hopefully be able to get to the top of that. And then farther out of town, maybe another 10 or 15 minutes past that, is the bobsled trails and park and complex and all that, which I don't believe there's really much to see other than you can kind of see the trails kind of off to the back. I might have a video of it from earlier that I'll show here. I don't think I'm going to mess with that today, just because I don't think there's a lot you can really get into and explore. But definitely want to check out the ski jump in addition to the Olympic complexes here, where the two ice rinks are for the 1932 and 1980 games. didn't notice that either. This is an insanely pretty area. Anyway, okay. So the village of Lake Placid is part of the town of North Elba. And North Elba was essentially, it wasn't established as a freed slave community, but it was used very quickly after its establishment as an area where freed slaves could be brought in order to be able to live freely and grow and kind of, live their lives. So it's interesting that a couple miles up here, the social club that eventually inspired the town to be named Lake Placid was established by Melvin Dewey, who was arguably a racist, an anti-Semite. He would not allow marginalized groups to join the Lake Placid Club. And so you've got this down the road here, this super progressive, we're going to let people live free and kind of be their own person sort of thing, especially in the 1800s, shortly after the end of the Civil War. And then just a couple miles up the road here, you've got this club that, I'm not saying all the members felt like that, but membership was denied for individuals who were marginalized. So I don't know how those two things reconcile, but it's interesting. So, okay, we made it to the top here. This is the crest of the hill. You see Mirror Lake over there, and in the summertime and probably in the winter now, you can do a whole loop around the lake. You have the Adirondack Mountains in the background. This is the Crown Plaza Hotel that we saw earlier. My hotel is might actually be that right there. I think it, yeah, it looks like it probably is. Let's walk over here and check it out. I feel like I timed this trip perfectly. This is so absurdly peaceful and calming and serene. I just want to stand here for an hour. Even despite the cars, which is funny, I say it's calming and peaceful, and then a bunch of cars fly by, but even despite that, this is just, this is so absurdly pretty. So, okay, I am absurdly overdressed for being inside. So I'm going to run back to my room really quick, kind of take off a million of these layers, and then head over to check out the two Olympic complexes. All right, so before I head down here real quick, I just talked to that lady. In that mountain right there, not this one, but that one way in the back, you can just see the peak of, is Whiteface Mountain, which is where the ski events were held, the ski slopes for the Olympics. Apparently yesterday, because it was snowing, you couldn't even see these mountains, so I just apparently timed this absolutely perfectly.